Open your book to page 409. Today's lesson is on sketching polar equations. One of the most common type of the graphing is the spiral. It's called Archimedes spiral, and it has the form of r equal to a theta. And so the basic way of graphing the equation is by plotting points. And so let's go to example 1. In example 1, you want to graph r equal to 2 theta, and you want to go from 0 to 5 pi over 3. Now, for this type of graph, what you need to do is make sure you use a radian, and usually you want to go by those common points. So if you make the table, and so here's a theta and here's r, and so if you start with theta equal to 0, so r equal to 2 times theta, right? So you just go in 2 times 0, you get 0, right? And then you go pi over 6. So use your calculator, 2 times pi over 6, and this will give you, and you want to use decimal, so you get 1.05. And you go to use the pi over 3. You can use your calculator and you work it out, you get 2.09. And you go pi over 2. Now over here you can also use the pi over 4. And you can get additional value if you want to get more accurate graph. And so you get pi over 2, you get 2 times that, so you get 3.14. Okay, so let's go and make the table. And so, and you get 2 pi over 3, and you get 5 pi over 6, and you get pi, and you get 7 pi over 6. So again, you just want to make the table until it reaches the boundary over here. And then you get 3 pi over 2. And you get 5 pi over 3. So again, you want to get all those common points. So 2 pi over 3, 2 times that, use your calculator, you get 4.19. 5 pi over 6, again, use your calculator, you get 5.24. Just again, use that formula. And 2 times pi will give you 6.28. And 2 times that will give you 7.33. 2 times that will give you 8.38. 2 times that will give you 9.42. 2 times that will give you 10.47. So after you make the table, then what you want to do is you're going to start the graph. Okay. So when you're doing the graphing, you just plot the points. So first point is when angle equal to 0, the radius is equal to 0, so that would be the point right over here. Now I don't have enough, so I'm going to make every division as a 2. Okay, so at pi over 6, so here's your 0. Okay, pi over 6 is over here. So at this angle is 1.05. So 1.05 would be about right over here. Okay. Then let's go to pi over 3. Pi over 3 is over here. And so it's going to be 2.09. So 2.09 is going to be right over here. Again, every division is 2. So you just plot the points. At pi over 2, it's going to be 3.14. So it's about right over here. Right, again, remember, each of this is 2. And then at 2 pi over 3, so there's 2 pi over 3 over here. So it's going to be 4.19, so just about 4. And then 5 pi over 6. So this is 5 pi over 6. And it's going to be 5.24. So it's 245. 5.24, just about 5. And at pi, so here's pi, it's a 6.28. So 246, just a little bit more than 6. And 7 pi over 6, that's over here. 7 pi over 6 is going to be 7.33. So 2, 4, 6, 7, and 8. So 33 would be 1/3 over here. Okay, next one is 4 pi over 3. And this will give me the 8. So 2, 4, 6, 8, and this is 9, and so this is 8, this is 9, so 1/3 between that, so it's about right over here. And next one, 3 pi over 2. So 3 pi over 2 is 9.4, so 2, 4, 6, 8. Here's a 9 and here's a 10, so 9.4 is about halfway between the 9 and the 10. And then 5 pi over 3 would be about 10.5, so 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So it's here 10, 12, that's 11, so the 10, here's 11, so 10.5 is about over here. Okay, and then after that, you're going to connect the dots and make a smooth curve. Okay, and so that's the graph. So what you want to do is go and make the table and just go and get the points and you connect the dots and that's it. Okay. Then let's go and do one more example. Let's go and do example 2. Okay, example 2, you want to graph r equal to 4 cosine theta. Now with a function, you can use either radian or degree, depends on the problem. But when you have this kind of spiral, when there's no function, you have to use the radian. Make sure you use the radian. Okay, so again, you go and make the table. So go and make the table. So you have the theta, you have the r. And you want to go by, you're going to have a 0, pi over 6, going to have pi over 3, pi over 2, and then you get 2 pi over 3, and you get 5 pi over 6, and then you get pi, and you get 7 pi over 6. Okay, so go and make the table, and again, so r equal to 4 cosine of theta. So again, just use your calculator, you work it out. So cosine of 0 is 1 times 4 will give you 4. Okay, and this one, again, just get all the values. You get 3.46 and 2.00. I can just plug this in, work it out, and you get 0 over here because cosine of pi over 2 is 0 times 4, you still get 0. And this one you get negative 2.00 and negative 3.46. For pi, you're going to get negative 4.00, and this one you get negative 3.46. Okay, so now we're ready to do the graphing. Okay, so here's the graph. So at 0 degree, so here's your 0, radius is 4. So this one we have enough. We can just go ahead and just use a regular radius. Okay, so at 0, radius is 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4, right over here. So it's right over here, 4. And next point is pi over 6, so pi over 6 is over here, and the value is 3.46. So 1, 2, 3, 3.46, about 3.5. Next point, pi over 3. The radius is 2, so from here go 1, 2. And pi over 2 is 0, so it's right over here. Now this one, if you want to be more accurate, you should get the pi over 4 value. So pi over 4 value will give you additional value over here. So if you were to use pi over 4, okay, you substitute into here, so this will give you 2.8, so it's about 3, so it will give you a point about right over here. Okay, so you can get at more points, will give you more accurate graph. Okay, so now you get 2 pi over 3, so pi over 2 you get 0, and 2 pi over 3, the radius is negative 2, so instead of going this way, you have to go this way, so go 1, 2, right over here. Okay, so again, radius is negative 2, so you have to go opposite direction. Now 5 pi over 6 is over here, but again, radius is negative 3.5, so instead of going this way, you need to go this way, so 1, 2, 3, 3.5. so right over here. Okay, and when it's pi, right over here, the radius is -4, so you have to go this way, so you end up with the same point. So now it's going to repeat the points now. Okay, so it's going to repeat the points. And at 7 pi over 6, over here the radius is -3.5, so you have to go opposite direction, you end up at the same point. And as you continue, it's going to repeat. So when you connect the dots, okay, when you connect the dots, you end up with a circle. Okay, and that's your graph for example number 2. Okay, again, so go ahead and make the table and you plot the points accordingly and you connect the dots and you get that graph.